And two big stories this hour. Chaos outside an ICE detention center in Newark, New Jersey again, where people tried to enter the facility and block ICE vehicles.
Get out! Get out! Oh my God! Oh my God!
Commando! You ain't even changed students and pointing up computer no more!
So Democrats were involved with this. Senator Andy Kim of New Jersey ended up somehow with mace in his eyes. Governor Mikey Sherrill showed up begging to be permitted inside the federal facility. Of course, it did not happen. Our other big story, the socialist mayor of New York City has got to be the dumbest politician ever. Prior to tonight's sweep in terms of basketball, the NBA, New York over Cleveland to get to the finals for the first time in more than 2 decades, citing violence, his administration has blocked the outdoor gathering outside MSG, so the celebration for New York fans is bittersweet. And so, folks, the Knicks watch party outside the Garden is dead. 27 years it took to get back to this point, and this mayor says no. Now, the police, the NYPD, say the celebrations outside of the Garden have gotten out of control. But here's the problem. Mamdani permits anti-Israel, anti-Semitic protests to go forward, and those protesters do worse, even worse than what happened at MSG. So why are they allowed to march and do their thing, but the crowd at MSG is not? Even before tonight's game, even before tonight's big game, the star of the New York Knicks, this story has very much become political. The star of the Knicks, Jalen Brunson, was at a loss of words when he was asked, should the fans be able to have their outdoor watch party?
Fans were disappointed, obviously. Would you like to ask NYPD to reconsider this decision since you are, king of New York?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah,
I don't think he's a mayor.
I'll come back to you on that one.
And so there you have it, the star player on the New York Knicks, Jalen Brunson, even punting on this political controversy. Mamdani has got to be the dumbest politician ever. This is a time for him to shine, to unite the city of New York, and he says no to the Garden watch parties, the first time in 27 years that the New York Knicks have made it to the finals, but yet he allows the anti-Semitic pro-Palestinian protests to go forward. And he's big on soccer, so he brokered the deal where there will be 1,000 tickets available at $50 a pop. So the biggest story to hit New York in decades, and Mamdani has stepped all over it. Hopefully this decision will not stand. Let's get back to New Jersey. The number to reach me live right now, 800-848-9222. So chaos outside that ICE detention center. Protesters tried to enter the facility. They tried to block ICE vehicles. And Senator Andy Kim, Democrat, somehow he tried to calm the crowd down, but he ended up with mace in his eyes.
So I just ask that we can be able to work to be able to open up a path here for these vehicles. I ask that you do not engage with the vehicles. I will go back here and visual ID each and every one of them. Okay?
Windows down, right?
Windows down. But I'm asking you, I'm trusting you, do not engage, do not throw, no, do not engage in that type of way. That will just make matters worse. We have an opportunity here.
And so you hear the senator there. A short time later, you could see him seated down with someone pouring, I guess, milk or water, whatever they do to treat your eyes when you've been hit with mace. So you have a situation, and you would think by now that Democrats would understand you don't supersede a federal facility, not even the governor. Not even Governor Mikey Sherrill. This from CBS News.
The governor just left, and it has been a chaotic scene here at Delaney Hall. As you can see behind me, protesters are in front. They've been here since Friday. Family members claim their loved ones being detained inside the immigration facility are facing terrible conditions. Now, New Jersey Governor Mikey Sherrill was here earlier talking to family members and hearing their stories. One of those people, Gabriela Soto, she is pregnant. Her husband has been detained inside the facility. She tells us she blocked the exit because she says agents were trying to take her husband out of the facility.
They lied to him. They told him that he was getting released, and then I bear witnessed him getting kidnapped, shoved and thrown in a van. I had a whole community behind me that was listening to me. They saw a van and they blocked it. They made the van go back.
So now he's inside.
We don't know where he is.
This type of facility shows exactly why we should not have private mass detention facilities.
The ICE officials tell us that folks inside this immigration center are receiving comprehensive medical care, 3 meals a day, clothing, showers, and that's what we've been told. But those Congress people here are telling us that's not what they're hearing from the people they've talked to.
And so there you have it from part of a report, CBS. At what point, folks, you would think Minneapolis, right? I'm coming back in just 1 second. Minneapolis, 800-848-9222. Haven't you learned your lesson in terms of what happened in Minneapolis? You don't get to supersede ICE in the federal government. Not the governor, not a U.S. senator. I'm sorry that Senator Kim had mace in his eyes, had to be treated for a U.S. senator. And I don't think he was struck by, in terms of the mace, by an agent. It happened to be, I believe, sometimes when you're in these situations, it can be a byproduct and it could hit you. Let's start with some of your telephone calls. Let's go to line 3, Gracie in Rockland County. Gracie, good morning. What's on your mind?
What's on my mind is I'm home in Rockland now. I came yesterday morning, and
Welcome
coming
back.
up the Thank you. And the Palisades is just beautiful. The trees. Oh my God, it's gorgeous.
It is.
Okay, now to important things. You kind of said what I was going to say. Now, in this senator is Kim from New Jersey. He's a federal senator.
Yes, U.S. senator.
Okay, I wasn't sure if he was, the state or whatever. But,
Right.
when you play with fire, you
Absolutely.
can get burned, okay?
Absolutely.
So now they think they can control their little peons, but they can. Now, he got it in the face. So the rest of them that are causing trouble better watch out, too, because they might end up getting hurt. But isn't it something that there's so many whack job Democrats that are going shooting the president, or trying to get the president? I'm so happy we don't have that many nut job Republicans that are going shooting anybody. There are plenty of...
It's absolutely
right?
horrible, Gracie, what's going on. It's absolutely horrible.
And they're not, and they just encourage it. That guy in Waltz, what he said was a Nazi, or this, calling the president. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then they wonder what's going on. I just hope that none of them get shot. That's all I have to say.
Gracie,
Bye-bye.
let me ask you. Look, hey, Gracie,
What,
are you there?
sweetheart?
Let me ask you a
sweetie.
question before you go here. So
Yeah.
there's a big protest. We had the lead organizer on at my 3 p.m. show. Big protest
I
tonight.
was listening.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Big protest set for tonight, 7 p.m. outside the mayor of New York City's residence, Gracie Mansion. So, Gracie, explain this to me, right? So we're a political show, but the things I'm talking about right now are political. This is the first time in 27 years that the New York Knicks has reached the final. And Mamdani There has been some violence with the watch party right outside the Garden where it's free and thousands show up. So he says no to that. But yet the people that are protesting against the Jewish community and doing horrible things, they can protest all they want. It doesn't. Why would you cancel the watch party when this is the biggest moment in your career thus far? What is wrong with this guy?
He doesn't realize how important it is to, quote, a certain segment of the population, white and black. Okay?
Correct.
So let's hope the young black men who love basketball don't go bananas even though he says don't do it. Okay?
Right. You know, and you know what, Gracie, thank you for that. You just made me understand a bit further. He doesn't get it. He loves soccer. He thinks that everybody's supposed to love what he loves. Doesn't work that way in America, buddy. We like American football, American basketball, American baseball, American hockey. And soccer's like a distant fifth. Sorry, Mom Donnie. Gracie, thank you for the great call. Let's go to John, line 4, Reno, Nevada. Good morning, John. What's on your mind?
Good morning, Dominic. These private detention facilities for the immigrants, I am certain.
For ICE, right. Fine. Delaney Hall in Newark, New Jersey.
Yes, I'm certain they're just fine. The Democrat playbook, and I witnessed this in San Francisco, is whenever there's a policy they don't like, they complain. They say facilities are inadequate. They say the employees are racist. You know what I'm saying? There's always something with the Democrats when they have a policy they don't like. And people are racist and the facilities are inadequate are the top 2 complaints they always go to right off the bat.
Hey, John, help me out with this. How do you think, as a regular citizen, you're going to show up to an ICE facility and they're going to let you in, or you're going to block their vehicles? And even if you're a U.S. senator or a governor, you know, Democrats in the state, how do you think you're just going to bypass the process? How does that happen?
It's insane. It's childish people averting reality. You know, we had a federal election. Trump won. The people weighed in. They wanted the immigrants to go home. That's the way it is. You know what I'm saying? And they just can't accept it, and they're going to have to.
Right. John in Nevada, Reno, thank you very much for the telephone call. A busy news morning. We are going to take a break. We're taking your calls, 800-848-9222. These Democrat elected officials are going to get someone else killed. Minnesota evidently was not enough. What happened at Delaney Hall? Delaney Hall happens to be an ICE detention center in Newark, New Jersey, led by the governor of the state of New Jersey, Mikey Sherrill. And also Democrat Senator Andy Kim showed up, and it was chaos. Kim ended up with mace in his eyes and had to be treated. And Governor Sherrill wanted to be allowed inside. It did not happen. That's one of the big stories we are covering. The other story happens to be the New York Knicks are going to the final. That's not the story. The story is the socialist mayor lets the anti-Semitic protesters do whatever they want, but when it comes to the Knicks watch party, he says, no, it's shut down. Now, the protesters did much worse, but they get a full green light from City Hall. But the New York Knicks fans, for the first time in 27 years, going to the finals, and they are not allowed to have the watch party anymore. You watch any NBA game, especially when the stakes are high, like right now. They always cut away, folks, so you understand what I'm talking about. They cut away to an outside shot where it's free to the public, and there are always thousands and thousands and thousands of people. Canada was famous for this, right? And many other cities throughout the country. Now it's happening in New York for the first time in 27 years, and Mamdani and the police department shut it down. If you want to understand how I look at life, right, in terms of the Knicks victory tonight and so on, and my philosophy, if you want to understand me, and we're going to go to Mary Beth in just 1 second. If you want to get me, listen to this, folks.
We did not come this far to just break down and lose now. I'm a winner. I'm going to win.
Everybody's great when they're not tired. The champions is when they tired, that's when the real champions come out. That's when a real dog come out.
Lazy people do a little work and think they should be winning, but winners work as hard as possible.
And so I'm a winner. I'm going to win. That's the way I look at life. 800-848-9222. Patrick Ewing, Knicks star, is speaking out. Everybody's speaking out. A big night here in New York, folks, as the Knicks have made it to the finals. The first time in 27 years. Line 3, Mary Beth, Long Island. What's on your mind, Mary Beth?
What's on my mind, Dominic, is the fact that, first of all, I cried tears of joy. They're going to the finals. How long has it been for that team, but for New York, any team? Right. And now the mayor is not letting people celebrate at Madison Square Garden. What is his problem? As you said, he allows anti-Israel people to celebrate and to have ugly, violent sessions outside of temples, outside of places where he feels he will get the most reaction. I'm in shock. I'm in absolute shock. As you said, this is a moment for New Yorkers to come together in happiness.
Right. White, black, brown, whatever. Everybody to come together to celebrate the New York Knicks making it to the finals. And Mamdani permits his anti-Semitic pals to do whatever they want, but you can't celebrate for the Knicks. Utterly disgusting. Mary Beth, thank you for the call. We're taking your telephone calls, 800-848-9222. And we are back this hour dealing with two top stories. One, and I don't say this lightly, Democrats are going to get somebody killed. They work the public up to think that you don't have to adhere to the law. You're dealing with the feds. No one is going to defy or beat the feds. It really is as simple as that. So, Delaney Hall, a private ICE detention center in Newark, New Jersey, again, the scene of violence as the governor of New Jersey, Mikey Sherrill, shows up begging to be permitted inside. Protesters were out there. Senator Andy Kim, another Democrat, shows up to try and calm the crowd down. It got violent. Somehow mace ends up in his eye. You see the senator sitting down with someone pouring something in his eyes, trying to get the mace out. The other big story happens to be the New York Knicks. And this guy, Mamdani, he is a disaster, a failure, no matter how you look at it. I can only hope and pray that for the sake of New York City, that the commissioner of the NBA is going to privately reach out to him. Those watch parties that you see all over the country, you've seen them for years. So, like, for example, if the team is playing, let's say, in Indiana, and the weather is bad, they'll let them, if let's say it's another team, Boston, they'll let fans come into the stadium or organize a setting and watch the game on the monitors. So that's what happens in New York and other cities. They have the monitor hooked up. It's a great visual for the cameras. You show thousands of people standing outside. It's a great goodwill gesture. It doesn't cost a thing compared to tickets that it costs thousands of dollars to go to the actual Knicks game. You're part of it. And sometimes the players, when they're leaving, they will stop by it and say hello. Mr. Dolan, the owner of the Knicks, stopped by the other day before the game, passed out basketball to kids. Right? So it's a win-win. What does Mamdani do? He says because of violence, no more watch parties, but yet his anti-Semitic buddies that are protesting and terrorizing the Jewish community, they get to do whatever they want. And if you think that this is a minor item, this is not just me talking, folks. The headline on the story in the New York Times, it says the Knicks watch party outside the Garden is dead. The story goes on to say the police say the celebrations outside of Madison Square Garden have gotten out of control. But again, folks, Mamdani permits anti-Israel, anti-Semitic protests to go forward. And they do far worse. This is such a hot potato politically. The star of the New York Knicks, Jalen Brunson, was asked about this the other day, and he didn't even have an answer. But guess what? In the world of sports, this is not the only controversy. And in a moment, I'm going to Maddie and West Hempstead, line 3. This is not the only controversy. How would you like to be Jackson Dart, the quarterback of the New York Giants? Okay. Going into his second year, who knows if he's going to be a star or a bust? I still think, that it's on the fence. It could go either way. So what did he do? And I need you folks to help me. 800-848-9222. Anybody I get it all the time. Anybody that supports Trump, you are the devil. You're the worst thing ever. So Jackson Dart, all he did was introduce the president. That's it. His comments Friday at Rockland Community College, his comments lasted maybe a minute. He was criticized by a Muslim teammate. He's criticized online. What did this man do? All he did was introduce the President of the United States. We're going to get to that in just a second, but I'm going to go to one or two of your calls. Let's go to Maddie, line 3, West Hempstead. Good morning. What's on your mind?
Oh, good morning to you, Mr. Carter. So I believe that probably the main issue is that basketball is a cultural thing for America, and anything that's American and that's cultural is very harmful to Mamdani and his beliefs, because he just wants to put American culture down. The same thing with being so anti-Semitic. I mean, I don't know what his problem is, having people outside the shuls and everything to stop the people from going in. He wants to just stop anything that makes America happy. And that's the sad thing. And you know what? One of the things, you can't crush the American spirit, and they're just not going to win.
Well, Maddie, I hope that you're correct. There's going to be a big protest outside his residence tonight. It's time that he get called on what he's doing. And I agree with you, because soccer, it's big in America, but it's not as big as the other sports. It's not as big as hockey, not as big as baseball, not as big as football, not as big as basketball. This is a cultural celebration to bring all the races together. And you say no?
Well, he don't get it.
Go ahead.
He don't get it. He's not American. He's not American. That's what the problem is. He didn't grow up here. He doesn't get it. He just doesn't get what it is to be an American. So he studied here. So he learned here. But he doesn't have the feeling that people who grew up here and live here and understand here and work here, he just doesn't get it. He'll never get it.
But you would think somebody on his staff would say, Mr. Mayor, this is a mistake. The Knicks haven't done this in 27 years.
His staff doesn't get it either because they're afraid of being fired. They don't want to be unemployed. They don't want to be ostracized. That's why they don't speak up. People don't have backbones anymore. People need to grow a spine, and they need to speak up. This is the way we are in America. So we argue. Okay, so we argue. But the thing is that we all come together for a game. We all come together for a good time. And some of the creation of the animosity is due to the fact that he's not letting us celebrate. We're all angry. So, anger sometimes just, drips with hate and anger.
So Maddie, let me ask you this before I go to Arnold in Brooklyn. This is a good look for the NBA with the Knicks making it to the finals, right? It's good.
Absolutely.
A New York team. It's good.
Absolutely.
It's good throughout the entire country. It's going to help ratings. It's going to help revenue. It's going to help increase the sport worldwide. Do you think the NBA is going to pressure Mamdani backdoor to say, listen, you have got to let this outdoor watch party go forward? The TV cameras have to see this.
I think it's going to be a 50-50 split, but I do believe that eventually, if cool heads prevail, things will go right, Knicks will win, and you know what? They'll all get over it.
Right. Mamdani is just cut from a different cloth. I don't get this
Oh, my
guy.
goodness. You know what? I feel bad for him. I feel bad that he doesn't get being an American, and he's trying to, do the American thing. He doesn't get it. He just doesn't get it. He'll never get it. He didn't grow up here. He doesn't have the feeling. He doesn't have the dirt under his nails of what it is to be an American.
I don't get it. The first time in 27 years that the New York Knicks have reached this, and you shut it down. You have got to be the dumbest politician ever. Thank you, Maddie, for the call. Let's go to Arnold, line 4, Brooklyn, New York. What's on your mind, Arnold?
Hi, Dominic. Thank you. I'm of the opinion that Mamdani does not wish to be a success as mayor. He wishes the city and the country and the society, the Western world, all to fail. And he's playing his part as part of two great traditions. The one is the tradition of communism, and the other is the tradition of Islamicism, which is about 100 years old. And that they're dedicated to the deconstruction of Western society. And he's
Okay, but
playing his
Arnold,
small part. Yes.
but Arnold, if you're the mayor of New York, it's just stupid to say that the watch party is out, right? Now, they did announce this the day before the Knicks clinched going to the finals, but it's just stupid, especially considering you're letting your anti-Semitic pals do whatever they want. Whatever they want, they can do. They can march through entire Jewish communities. You have nothing to say, and things get a little rowdy outside Madison Square Garden, and you shut it down?
He probably feels the people who gather there are not part of his constituency.
Well, that's interesting. Maybe you're on to something. Thank you very much, Arnold. I see Joe in New Jersey, Michael in New Jersey, Melvin in the Bronx amongst the calls. We're going to get to them. But things are not looking too well either for Jackson Dart. He's the quarterback of the New York Giants. This man, this poor kid, takes the stage Friday in Rockland, where I live at Rockland Community College, where my son graduated from before he went on to Purchase. All he did was introduce the President of the United States less than a minute. He's being crucified on social media and by a Muslim teammate because he dare associated with President Trump. Take a listen to this.
A New York Giants player just became the left's newest target, and his crime was simply introducing the President of the United States. Jackson Dart, the New York Giants starting quarterback, introduced President Trump at a rally in New York yesterday. He called it an honor and a privilege. Trump called him a future Hall of Famer, and within hours, the sports media mob came for him. His own teammate Abdul Carter went on X and publicly called him out. Saints defensive end Cam Jordan piled on. Sports radio hosts in New York ripped him. Left-wing media figures expressed their deep disappointment that a quarterback had the nerve to show up for the president. Now let's run the tape back. LeBron James campaigned publicly and relentlessly for Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, and Barack Obama. The sports media called him a hero, a leader, a role model using his platform for good. NFL players wore political messaging on their helmets and took knees during the national anthem for multiple seasons. ESPN dedicated hours of coverage to praising their bravery. Entire NBA teams skipped White House visits to protest Trump. Standing ovations from every sports desk in America.
And so you get the point there, right? Now, poor Jackson Dart, all he did for 1 minute was introduce the president. What is wrong with people? Trump derangement syndrome is that bad? Let's go back to some of your calls. Let's go to Joe, line 3, New Jersey. Good morning, Joe. What's on your mind?
Good morning, Dominic. I just called in to say that this is an effort, a concerted effort by Mamdani and other Muslims and other people in his position to deflate the American spirit. It's an outright deliberate thing. They do get it.
Joe,
that's the thing. They do get it.
Joe, hey, Joe, but you got to be stuck on stupid to block the New York Knicks watch party right outside the Garden when it shows your city in a positive light around the country. Right? You may have to put some more police officers out there, fine. But you say no to that while your anti-Semitic pals are terrorizing the Jewish community, and you let them protest.
It suppresses American tradition, and that's what his main effort and goal is. That's why he's not marching in the Israel parade next Sunday.
Right.
It's all a concerted effort, Dominic, to suppress American way of life.
Wow. Joe, thank you for that great call. Let's go to Jim, line 4 in Brooklyn. Jim, what's on your mind?
Right. I'm echoing what this caller just said. And when Matty said he doesn't get it, and other people say he's incompetent, he does get it. He's very competent. He knows exactly what he's doing, and he doesn't care what the New York image is. He just doesn't care. He does it on purpose, and he gets it.
So this is all intentional, you're telling me, Jim?
How could it? Of course it is. He's doing everything on purpose. He doesn't care, and he gets it, and he's not incompetent. He's very competent at destroying everything. That's what it is. He's competent. He's very competent, and he gets it.
But, Jim, I hear you, buddy, but this is the first time in 27 years that the Knicks have gone to the finals.
Well, that will make him even happier. He's great. He's thrilled to be doing it.
Wow.
That's what,
Wow.
You have to get that. You have to understand that. He's thrilled to be doing exactly what that is. He gets it, and he's very competent in what he's doing.
Jim, thank you for the great call. Jim in Brooklyn. Mamdani, I hear you, Jim. He's got to be the dumbest politician ever, or the brightest if your goal is to destroy your city. It is time for a break. We are coming right back. Knicks reaching the finals for the first time in 27 years, but the mayor of New York says no go. No outdoor watch party. It doesn't continue, citing violence, that it's gotten out of control, but yet his Palestinian pals, they have a get-out-of-jail-free card. They do whatever they want, terrorizing the Jewish community. He permits that to happen, but shuts down a celebration that has not occurred in 27 years. Olena, line 5, Teaneck, New Jersey. And folks, by the way, and Alina, thank you for the call. This is not just for New York City. It's for the entire region. Go right ahead, Olena.
Good evening, Dominic. Blessings for Memorial Day, to our memory.
And same to you and your family.
Thank you. Thank you. Dominic, I wanted to share this thought. Many years ago, the mayors of big cities got together for a meeting to whatever. And I think that that concept took a free ride over the years. And there must be some sort of trend, wave, thought of very many people to destroy the American culture, the American people as we are, and our government. And I just have this distinct feeling. I'm watching what's happening in New York, but it's not only New York. It's many other cities, both on the East and West Coast. And everything that is American is being put down by someone, somewhere, or many ones. And right now, we're close to New York, so we're feeling it. But it could be on the West Coast, and it is on the West Coast in the big cities.
Oh,
and,
it is.
Yes.
Seattle, Portland, it is. Olena, let me ask you this before I move on.
Yes.
To some that may not understand the importance of this, that say it's just a stupid basketball game, so, there was violence, so what, Mom Donnie shut it down. How do you counter that?
I counter that this is America's 250th anniversary, and this is only one little step that is going to happen to spoil, to ruin America's grandeur and memory and cultural existence for 250 years. This didn't happen yesterday. It's being planned, and the mayor is just one of many, but because he creates a lot of noise and attention, he's being singled out, but it's quietly being done everywhere. Dominic, we just have to beware.
I hear you. But how stupid do you have to be? If you're the mayor, this is your time to shine. You get out there with the fans, and you. This is dumb.
He doesn't want to shine. He doesn't want to shine. He actually wants to rain on the parade. He wants to ruin anything that is cultural in America. Yes, he is. Slowly, every day, step by step.
Wow.
And will the Council of New York figure this out?
You got some far left.
Yeah, I know. They've got their gratitude in dollars, and they don't. They don't get it. Some of them just simply don't realize what's happening. It's sad.
Olena, I'm just going to stay with you because I only have a few seconds left to the show.
Yes.
I mean,
thank you.
You've just got to be plumb dumb stupid to shut down the outdoor Knicks watch party when they're in the championship now. This is the time to put New York on the map nationally, and you're saying no. You have the final word.
He is putting New York on the map in every wrong way.
You know what? I can't even top that. That's the line of the night, Olena, Teaneck, New Jersey. Thank you. Mayor Mamdani, you have got to be stuck on stupid. Dumb stupid. I'm back at 3 p.m. Eastern.